Hey everyone, it's me, Libby Collins, and I wanted to share with you today that I now have glasses. I wear glasses. I went to the eye doctor just like a few minutes ago, and we did a little testing, and I explained to him that I've been doing a little reading, and now I have to move the item away from my face because like I'm reading, and sure enough, he said that I need glasses for reading only. So these are my little glasses for reading. Hi, everybody. And, the book's upside down. Okay. And I'm reading this amazing book called Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. An Oprah Winfrey Super Soul Sunday.
You need glasses?
Come on. So now the printing, the text looks a lot more larger. It's clearer, and it's just exciting. So I want to thank everyone for watching. I went from having my tooth pulled out, thyroid, now glasses. I'm just like deteriorating in front of your eyes. Okay, so there's this part in the book that I really want to share with you all, and this is an amazing book. It's just so amazing when you read someone's experience and you come across some things and it's like real. Okay, bye guys, I'm reading. What? Don't talk right now. I'll be back in a minute. So, maybe I should go talk to the kids. I don't know. What do you think? I should go talk to the kids and then come back. Why is it so foggy? This really doesn't. Oh, okay. There we go. Now, where was I? So, in the story, it talks about this 14-year-old boy. His name is Charlie. Charlie was 14 years old. He weighed less than 100 pounds and was just about 5 feet tall. He didn't have any juvenile criminal history, no prior arrests, no misconduct in school, no delinquencies, or prior court appearances. He was a good student who had earned several certificates for perfect attendance at his school. His mother described him as a great kid. And he always did what he asked, but Charlie, by his own account, shot and killed a man named George. Now, you really have to hear this story. I mean, it's really heartbreaking. George was Charlie's mother's boyfriend. She referred to their relationship as a mistake. George would often come home drunk, begin acting violently. There were 3 occasions in the year and a half leading up to the night of the shooting when George beat Charlie's mother so mercilessly that she required medical treatment. She never left George or made him leave, even though she told several people that she knew she should. On the night of the shooting, George had come home very drunk. Charlie and his mother were playing cards when he arrived. He entered the house shouting, "Hey, where are you?" Charlie's mother followed his voice to the kitchen, where she let him know that she and Charlie were home playing cards. The 2 adults had argued earlier in the evening because she had begged him not to go out, fearing that he would come home drunk. Now she looked at him angrily when she saw him standing there, reeking of alcohol. He looked back at her, mirroring her contempt and disgust. And in a flash, he punched her hard in the face. She didn't expect him to hit her so quickly or violently. He hadn't done it like that before. She collapsed to the floor with the crush of his blow. Charlie was standing behind his mother and saw her head slam against their metal kitchen counter as she fell. George saw Charlie standing there and glared at him coldly before brushing past him toward the bedroom, where Charlie heard him fall noisily onto the bed. Charlie's mother was lying on the floor, unconscious and bleeding badly. He knelt by his mother's side and tried to stop the bleeding. There was some blood on her face, but it poured from an ugly cut on the back of her head. Charlie tried feverishly to revive her. He started crying futilely, asking his mother what to do. He got up and put paper towels behind her head, but couldn't stop the bleeding. He frantically searched for the cloth kitchen towel below. He thought that he He thought that would work better and found it wrapped around a pot on the stove. His mother had cooked black-eyed peas for dinner. He loved black-eyed peas. They'd eaten together before they'd start playing Pinochle, his favorite card game. Charlie replaced the paper towels with a cloth towel and panicked all over again when he saw how much blood there was. He was quietly begging his mother to wake up when it appeared to him that she wasn't breathing. He thought he could call an ambulance, but the phone in the bedroom was with George. George had never hit Charlie, but he terrified him just the same. As a younger child, whenever Charlie got scared or anxious, he would sometimes start trembling and shaking. The shaking would almost always be followed by a nosebleed. Sitting on the kitchen floor with his mother's blood all around him, Charlie could feel himself starting to tremble, and within seconds, the blood slowly began trickling out of his nose. His mother would always run to get something to help his nosebleed, but how could she when she's just lying there on the floor? He wiped the blood from his nose and focused on the fact that he had to do something. His trembling stopped. His mother hadn't moved in nearly 15 minutes. The house was quiet. The only sound he heard was George breathing heavily in the other room. Soon he could hear him snoring. Charlie had been slowly stroking his mother's hair, desperately hoping that she would open her eyes. The blood from her head had saturated the towel and was spreading into Charlie's pants. Charlie thought his mother might be dying or maybe even was dead already. He had to call an ambulance. He stood up, flooded with anxiety, and cautiously made his way to the bedroom. Charlie saw George on the bed asleep and felt a surge of hatred for this man. He had never liked him, never understood why his mother had let him live with them. George didn't like Charlie either. He was rarely friendly to the boy. Even when he was drunk, George seemed angry all the time. His mother had told Charlie that George could be sweet, but Charlie never saw any of that. Charlie knew that George's first wife and child had been killed in a car accident, and that's why Charlie's mother said he drank so much. In the 18 months that George lived with them, it seemed to Charlie that there had been nothing but violence, loud arguments, pushing and shoving, threats and turmoil. His mother had stopped smiling the way she used to. She'd become nervous and jumpy now, and he thought she's on the kitchen floor dead. Charlie walked to the dresser again, the back wall of the bedroom, to reach the phone. He had called 911 earlier after George had his mom, but she had directed him to do so and told him what to say. When he reached to the phone, he wasn't sure why he didn't just pick up the receiver. He could never really explain why he opened the dresser drawer instead, put his hand under the folded white T-shirt his mom had laundered, and felt for the handgun he knew George kept there, hidden there. He found it there when George had said Charlie could wear an Auburn University T-shirt someone had given him. It was way too small for George and way too big for Charlie, but he'd been grateful to have it. It had been one of George's few kind gestures. This time he didn't pull his hand back in fear as he did before. He picked up the gun. He'd never fired a gun before, but he knew how to do it. George was now snoring rhythmically. Charlie walked over to the bed, his arms stretched out, pointing the gun at George's head. As Charlie hovered over him, the snoring stopped. The room grew very quiet, and that's when Charlie pulled the trigger. OMG. Sometimes as parents we make poor choices, hence leading our children in a situation where they have to make a poor choice. It's amazing what happened to this little 14-year-old boy. And I will continue this part 2 of the story. The book is Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. Super Soul Sunday. Oprah had him on her Super Soul Sunday program, and I thought it was just amazing listening to him speak. Got the book, and I'm even more impressed. So just wanted to share that with you. And parents, we have to make better choices so that our kids can make better choices. And I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. So we have to, you're in a situation like that, you should know. Love you. Gotta go.